Good morning. Welcome to Trading Hour. I am Reema Tendulkar. With me are Sonish Shenoy and Pavitra Parekh. And this, girls, is the final trading day of 2022. And while we always look ahead, we make resolutions, we make forecasts, it's also time to take stock of the year that has been. And it's been a kind year for all investors, right? Despite the volatile roller coaster ride the global equity markets had, the Nifty has given a return of 5% for the Indian markets in 2022. We've been talking about India's outperformance, but let's put that into context. In dollar terms, the Nifty has given you a negative return of 5.5%, but that matters more to the foreign investors. It doesn't matter to retail investors like you and me. For us, it's the Nifty return of 5% so far this year. Now, if I have to compare it with what the global indices have done in this year, that's the Asian market picture where it was a tech catastrophe. So NASDAQ was the worst performing index, down close to about 33%, but even Dow Jones was down nearly 10%. European markets were in trouble on the back of the Russia-Ukraine war and fears about growth slowing down, higher gas prices. So across the board, 10 to 20% lost on the key European indices. And in the Asian markets, the bigger knocks came in on Hang Seng and China, though towards in the month of December, we have seen a recovery in these indices from the day's low on the China reopening, but still down close to about 15% Markets like Taiwan, the biggest manufacturer of semiconductor chips, that market was down close to about more than 20% on the back of supply chain issues. Korean markets were down close to about 30%. So in that context, look at us, right? We're the only island of green and a very resilient performance by us.
Absolutely, very resilient performance, but forget all that, right? I mean, it's New Year's Eve tomorrow. What's the party plan? That's most important. Pavitra looks like she's all set to party with a new look.
This is my new look for 2023. I was just telling Reema, I got so excited that I forgot to wear my lenses.
New year, new me, right?
Yeah, you know.
But this look is suiting you, must say.
And your party plans?
Family and friends.
Okay, as always.
As always, right?
Okay, but I mean, India's also been kind of partying, right? In that sense, the bulls have been. So it's been a good year for our own markets, as we've been telling you, 5% higher. If you look at the key gainers, I mean, if you had invested in banks, especially PSU banks and metal stocks, you'd be a really wealthy and happy investor this year. That's the kind of gains that we've seen. Good returns, 20 to 70% on the Nifty PSU Bank Index. On the losing end, though, IT, pharma and realty were the three sectors that bore the biggest brunt of losses. Specifically IT and then pharma and realty as well, all down about 11%. But if you look at the constituents of gainers this year, you'll notice that consumption was a big takeaway. So the consumption piece has picked up, whether it's ITC, whether it's cars, whether, it's lending. So SBI did really well this year. Eicher Motors was up about 35%. And in the large cap losers, it's of course IT, where there's been huge gashes this year. Wipro, Techem, none of the companies were spared. But you also had other names from the pharmaceutical space, whether it's Divi's, Dr. Reddy's, and even something like a Tata Motors that lost 20% because of the issues that we had in the global market. So this is pretty much the summary of what took place in the year gone by. We have a brand new year starting Monday. But Pavitra, what are you looking at? What was the big takeaway this year?
I mean, the big takeaway, I think, like you guys were just pointing out, was just that India has been so resilient in this, in this backdrop. And of course, so many things were going wrong across the world. So our markets have held. But let's take a look at what you should track moving in, because when we are getting into 2023, we are getting in with a setup where China is finally reopening, after those stringent COVID measures. So we're tracking that closely. Cases are going up, but let's see how the reopening goes over there. We are continuously talking about recession fears in the US. So that is something to track as well. Crude prices have been all over the place, currently around $83, and that is something that is also moving very heavily towards going on in China, and of course the recession talk. So we will watch that closely. We have the auto sales, which will be on Monday. Q3 earnings season is in 2 weeks, and then of course the union budget will hit us on the 1st of Feb. So that is everything that we have to track, getting in at least to the start of 2023. So lots to talk about. But first up, let's talk about the new listing today, the last one of the year. Ellen Electronics made a tepid debut on the bourses. The shares listed